Well, just to add to this week, we had another wild Sunday, and this time was mainly based around team lists and what happened with that one, especially in that second game. And this first one, there was a big flop in one of the top guns and a couple of those guns in the center position, and the wing fullback, I wouldn't call him a gun, but did a great job and scored like one. Did really well in this one. So strap yourselves in for this video, guys. I hope you had a pretty good round and updates were kind to you in these couple of games. So Raiders and Dragons. I tipped the Raiders in this one, got 7 out of 8. It was just the Storm boys who I would never have thought would have lost to Manly that cooked me this week in my tips. So very interesting one there. But Dragons, kind of what we expect. Raiders, a couple of good wins in a row. Very, very important to them to get back on track after a pretty tough start. And that game against Panthers there, that really kicked him into gear, which is good. Jack de Belin, this is a very, very interesting player. We're actually hoping that he was going to lose a bit more cash, but that 80 minutes in the 13 role really did it for him this week. Bird moved to the left edge, which didn't hamper his scoring at all. But de Belin did a cracking job there. Got the full 80 and 67 points. And those that have played for a long time know how much of a gun de Belin was, playing massive minutes in the middle for the Dragons before all his issues. So 3 turnover tackles for him, 54 tackles. That won't happen regularly. You can see in this game there was a lot of tackles given Bird on an edge, end up with 40, that lower scoring type of game, and Raiders having plenty of ball in hand. So de Belin, will he get scores like that every week? No. Can he be a 50-point guy? Yes. Is he priced according to that for you to buy him? Maybe. So 6.14, a little bit awkward. You can make 100k if he averages 50 over the next little bit, but do you want him for the entirety of the year? It is helpful that he's in a mid position where a lot of guys aren't. And we've got so many edges, so definitely helpful in that front, considering you're going to be moving on guys like Cam Murray eventually, I'd say, coming into Origin. De Belin is one of those guys, but I probably would select Cam McInnes just over de Belin at this point. Only a little bit cheaper, about 40k, but we're just not sure what the minutes in this one. We saw, Toby Couchman, we said it was a solid option, pretty risky, just in the fact that minutes have been very up and down. He's had a 40 and a 50-minute game the last couple. De Belin was playing 30 and 40 minutes, and then he comes out with 80. So Couchman was the one to lose his minutes. Bird played the full 80 on the edge. And when they didn't play Ben Murdoch-Masila, you're like, is that going to be better or worse for someone like Couchman? And unfortunately, it was worse, with de Belin playing that full 80. So that's that. Tata Monga, a great game from him, and well done in his return to the NRL after just so many injuries, man. He's had 4 ACL surgeries, so good on him. Seb Chris, finally a good game for him, up 32k after that 61. He was solid, but not an option, guys. Xavier Savage is going to be the man to potentially come back soon, so keep an eye out on him. He returned on the wing in New South Wales Cup there, so I think they were winning when I was having a look at that game. It was on just randomly before when I realised that there was a 2 p.m. game, not a 4 and a 6 this week. Hudson Young, a 59, so a nice try from him. 2 turnover tackles, 2 offloads, a sim bin as well. So could have been worse for him. Could have been a lot better as well. So yeah, sim bin right at the end, I believe. So Ray still played 80. So yeah, that's that. Jackie Bird in this one, 56, just becoming a very clear must-have, but he's very expensive now. Up 47k on the year, 28k this week, 56 in this one, 40 tackles, 5 misses. You're going to get negatives from him. He had negative 17 and still picked up 56. So the output that he provides, 7 tackle breaks, 137 meters. There's 27 in that, and for him to make 40 tackles as well, just shows that he's just very important in our sides. Obviously, any back rower on the edge, it's never been his best position. He's been better through the middle, but a back rower in the center position is just hard to come by when there's not a lot of centers doing really well. Bird's the one that's clearly on top, and he's going to be one of those guys that you get all the way through to 16 in when his first bye comes since that round 1, and he's been super important, averaging 51 now. Becomes a little bit more risky just for the fact that he is a little bit more expensive, and you could have got him under 600 a while ago. Unfortunate as it is, it could be a guy we just have to slot in our sides, I think. Blake Laurie back to his bigger minutes as well, so he was lower last week. Couchman was higher. That's that. Jaden Stewart becomes an interesting one. He's in the edge position though, and you'd probably rather select guys like Frizzell, but apart from his HIA game, he's been super consistent and is someone to have a look at for sure. But yeah, that's that with him. Tomoko, people keep asking about him. They have their bye next week, guys, so just remember that with the Raiders, they have their bye in round 8. Tomoko there, 571k, he's averaging 43.6, so very solid across the board from him in all of the games. He's been very consistent, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and doing a great job. So Tomoko, have him on your watch list anyway. Sloaney, 50 in this one, so back up 21k. So for those that traded him out instead of Warbrick, look, either way, both scored pretty well, to be honest, 38 and 50. Sloaney just has, that opportunity, that ability to come out and dominate like this in, that 10 to 20 minute span that he seems to do. And, a couple of these big scoring opportunities were, tackle breaks, offloads, try assists as well in there. 4 kick defusals, 165 meters. He was good, and you keep holding on to him until they have a bit of a tough run, and they seem to have a nice run for the next little bit anyway. I was looking at Bird and then check their fixtures, and it's not too bad at all. Fogs had a great game last week. Back to kind of normalcy for this year at the moment. 41 is his price is score this week, and 42 is the average. So not great across the board. I still think you just look at him. There's no point buying him. There's no point buying Ben Hunt. Like, people were talking about Benny last week as being a cracking option. And this is exactly what he did last year. First 5-6 rounds, it wasn't even that actually. First 3 or 4 rounds did really well, and then he just went down the toilet there. Strangely enough, he didn't actually score low due to missed tackles like he normally does. It was just around his lack of tackles in this one and lack of attacking stats. So 37 average. Tarpanet, wow, first game here actually had a lower PPM, so he's been absolutely killing it. PPM way over 1, and this time he actually had four missed tackles and did have the 1 error. So meters gained for him still 130. Just the offloads pretty well put away. He's only got 1 a game at the moment. 1 tackle break and low tackle numbers. So as we said there, Raiders had the ball plenty, and that shows why majority of these guys don't have big tackle numbers. You look at Papali'i, you look at Gula there, both in the mid 40s to high 40s minutes, and still only in the low to mid 20s in tackles. So Taps, I was just listening to TK. He's owned Taps, and their whole podcast is talking about, was it tap in the bin? Bin the tip in is their thing at the moment. So really tough one. He's down 53k, and he's been one of those guys we're going to be looking at post their buy, but it's very difficult to actually purchase him in round 9, I think. So we'll talk about it then, but I think he's going to be really hard to pick up with the high break even, and the minutes aren't there, and he's not playing like he did last year. Might come out and do so, but it looked like the lack of sleep from that first week of Bub has hampered him in this one, given his lowest score of the year. Probably we don't need to speak about, and by there as well. Really, there's not a lot of other not a lot of other guys in this game to speak about apart from Solo. There, you need to get rid of him, Salo, sorry, because he's starting to lose money now. So you made a bit, get rid of him as soon as you can. Couchman, so 12 in his 18 minutes. He did gain 15k, and that might be the bulk of your price rises. So very upsetting that he only got the 18 minutes. You'd imagine JDB doesn't get 80 every week, but they were really pushing. He was doing really well. Couchman, hopefully more minutes, but if you did pick him up, it's upsetting. Thankfully, he has the dual position, and can help you out in that sense. But other than that, not great. Kotrick, hamstring issue for him, which not good. Amone, 5 in his 80 minutes, not good. Who's going to come in for Kotrick? Smith Shields might come back. Savage maybe in round 9 could be the play. Seb Chris back to centre there, or wing, something like that will be the play. Okay, one more game to go. Eels and the Dogs. So, the big news here is obviously Hopgood got moved back to 13. Cartwright to the bench. And that did stuff a lot of people around. It made me make a different change. So this is where I was saying it's super important, guys. If you can wait as long as you can to make your decision. Obviously, this one was an hour before kickoff. There was a rumor about this. Someone tweeted about it saying their mail, or it might have been in my Discord. There was some mail that Cartwright was going to move to bench, Hopgood back to middle, Madison to the edge, and it was correct in the end. So we didn't really hear anything else about that other than that tweet. But not good. Not good for those that had already locked in their trades. And this was a sad one for me. It worked out okay, really, but I was going Hopgood to Moses. I then reversed that, and I was like, oh, do I go? I was like, I've got to trade Cartwright out now. It's time for him to go. Cartwright to, you guessed it, and always the way, Penasini, which I didn't do, obviously, or Cartwright to Brown. And I wish I didn't have enough money, but I had about 3k extra that I could go straight to Brown. And that's the way I played it. I then proceeded to see injuries on, with Carraz, injury to Averillo, and them changing things around, moving guys to the other end. And it was just absolute chaos on that right side. And Penasini went over for a try. And then he went through and passed it back to Moses for the second try there. And obviously wanting Moses and also wanting Penasini when Brownie was sitting on the other side, I think about 6 at the time, and Penasini was close to 45. It was good times. But thankfully, Brownie got it back. And in hindsight, the way I was looking at it was Brownie had dropped cash. Penasini had gone up across the year and was pretty well, close to his max. I thought so anyway. And then he actually came out and dominated, where Brownie has had a bit of a quieter year and could improve from that. That was my general theory on that one. And I was looking to get Jack Bird next week. So I was like, well, if I get Penasini, I can't get Bird. So it turns out obviously should have got Penasini, in hindsight, but it is what it is. And still made the decision where keeping Hopgood, man, I got 50 from him, 47 from Brown. Otherwise, I would have went Hopgood to Moses, who still did great, but I only missed out on 14 points going to Brown, and kept Hopgood's 50, which was nice. So that's that in that one there. And Cartwright obviously getting 28, saved me from picking up that score as well. But anyway, Penasini was great. I think he's a clear keeper, guys, averaging 49.7. He was a good option before this game, great option after. But yeah, getting more expensive at 640 now, very close to what Jack Bird is there. Campbell Gillard with the try in this one, a much better game from him, averaging 48 now. Mitch Moses 61 with the try in there, no try assists, just did a little bit of everything across the park. Got a couple of forced dropouts, ran the ball, got his kick meters without being over the top. Only 325. He's still a great option, guys. 793. Hopefully you can get games of 60 more regularly and consistently. I think is what you'll be happy with as an owner. But overall, he's been awesome and is a great buy heading into the buy period. Maxi King, 61 for him, 72 minutes. Crazy effort with, Pango Jr. back and a few things going poorly, really is what made him play bigger minutes. Ockenbaugh was in there. They had to play Torpenny for bigger minutes as well when Karaz went on. So that's another middle that didn't take his minutes. So expect to be back down about that 58 to 60 minutes as normal. But if you do own Kinger, 2.2%, then you're really happy with that output. Madison there's 57 in this one, 61 minutes. So a mixture between the edge and the middle. I saw there for him when Dury came on for Laney there. You had Cartwright come on that right edge as well. Madison moved around, moved positions there, but he worked out really well. Got a nice offload, try assists and line break assists there. So he's great. If he can add those attacking stats to his game, to go along with those really good base stats, then he's going to be a winner. Obviously, majority of the time he was on the park, they were scoring tries. But yeah, that was it. Madison, still a great option. The only worry is Origin for me with Madison. I'm not sure if that's going to happen, but that's that. Tavita Pangai. So interesting player here. 4 offloads to hand, 2 to ground. He was great in that sense, and he's always looking to offload. 21 tackles, still a few negatives, still a few errors in his game, but as a return, 47 minutes, 51 points. He's underpriced that way. He's a dual position guy. He's going to be out in round 13, so there's that. But yeah, definitely someone to look at. Not super exciting to me, but I know a lot of people are super keen on him with that offload. 4 points each time, just does it easy. Hopgood, 70 minutes. That was great news for him there. Did pick up a couple of errors and 4 missed tackles and was doing great. He had 35 points in that first 40 minutes, and then really slowed up that first sort of 10 or so after halftime. Only picked up 5 and then got a bunch of extra at the end. But big minutes for him was good news. Laney's still playing lower minutes, which is ideal for him. Madison not playing the full 80, and I think that's going to happen more regularly with Cardi coming on through the edge. I wouldn't expect Hopgood to play 70, but sort of 60 minutes and some better output in his attacking stats is probably going to be the play. But 1 offload to hand, 2 offloads to ground could have been a bit better there as well, and just the 2 tackle breaks there and a sneaky forced dropout. So good news for Hopgood. If you did hold him, most likely now, if he continues to get named at 13 role, he will be a hold through the buy period if he stays away from Origin. And I think at this point he probably should stay away from the Origin arena, and potentially next year would be the play. But if he was to get named there in round 13, that would be tough. But yeah, I did keep him in my side just to let you know. Brownie actually was pretty good with boot in hands, ball in hand. So he had, when he was kicking, I should say, 9 points in kicks, so 91 meters and 3 forced dropouts. Really, really good positional play there. 22 tackles, 1 miss. How this guy doesn't get any tackle breaks. He has 142 meters, 0 tackle breaks. It kills me. Hasn't got a line break yet, hasn't got a try. We've bought him. I bought him anyway at 650k. That's priced in the mid 40s, guys. So now that he's getting a bunch of those 40s in a row, he's bottomed out in price, and hopefully he can get a line break, a try there somewhere, try assist to Shawnee Lane if they do start to go left a little bit more. Obviously, the right side has been really strong. Moses Penasini is a great little combination there. their edge guy is obviously Madison as well. So I do understand it makes it tougher for them to go left. They're going to go right a lot more than they are. But once Lane gets back to full health, and they've got him as an option, and then Brown to cut out to Sivo, like what happened at the beginning of last year, Brown will get those tackle breaks. He will get those line breaks. Things will open up a little bit more for him. So that's my goal with Brownie. You pick him up underpriced and you hold him through that bye period. That's my general thoughts. Preston there, 43. 67 minutes this one was interesting. Does he start to become closer to a sell now that he's up to 608k? He's made us a cool 378,000, which is incredible. So happy I started with him. But 32,000 gained this week. He'll still have a lower break even. Won't be crazy. It'll be I think it's in the low 30s there. But Preston, does he become closer to a sell? Just because we have so many edges in our team. That's where I look at Eli Katoa and these guys that are up over 600k. And are they going to be a keeper long term? Don't think so. They're going to be close. Yeah, sure. They're both averaging just under 50 and doing a great job. But they're the kind of guys that if you are looking to upgrade down in the wing fullbacks or centers, you could almost straight swap them, which is really cool. But Preston did a great job still in a game where he was pretty low for the good portion of the start of this game, but did get a line break, did get a few tackle breaks in there as well. So great news for him. Burton 39, so up 7k again, 648,000, still averaging 44 for the year. So I still think he has room to grow. So does Marnie. They can both improve with their output, but a couple of good runs for Burton. Did get a nice line break, did get a line break assist, try assist as well. Just a slight worry that he can still get these lower games because they're not going too crash hot. Obviously, the injuries in this one really hurt them. I think it would have been a much closer game with Carraz there, with Averillo on 2 good legs. Unfortunately, it was not to be in this one for the Doggies. Marnie there. So just a lot going on here. You had a lot of negatives, 7, 11, 19 on that side of the ball. 47 tackles for 4 misses he can take. Got his kicking in. Just the negatives. He needs to get rid of that out of his game, and he'll be like a high 40s type of scorer. But it showed that the hooking position was not great in this week, apart from Jeremy Marshall-King, really, and Mitch Kenny. Laney there, 36. Yeah, I said he'll work into things. Alamotti, 32. He had that try disallowed as well. He almost got 2. His first 2 in his career. So, yeah, the first of many for Paul going forward. But 5k gained in this one. Hopefully he can hold price or continue to score pretty well. I played him in this one. I'm very thankful for his 32. Thank you for the output. Lovely Alamotti. But yeah, a bit of everything. Turnover tackle in there. Had an offload, tackle break. Very low on tackles. He ended up spending most of the time on the wing. But a couple of kick defusals. And yeah, just played a really good game. I was very happy with him and his output. Hansy. So he played got 31, played 80 minutes in this one. It sounds like Hodgson probably just an illness, but we'll monitor that one. And yeah, potentially he could be a buy if Hodgson is now out of favour and is just not getting played. But Hodgson didn't play anywhere, so potentially it's just a 1 week thing. Sutton, please get him out of your side. Junior Barlow there with 28. He wasn't great either, so yeah, you shouldn't have him anyway, but get rid of him. The Cardi Party, unfortunately, it sounds like it is over. So very sad that it is over, but 28 in 50 minutes. Yes, 50 minutes is still good, but he needs 80 to get his 40s and 50s scores. There'll be games where he gets attacking stats, but majority of games there, he's actually had a really good base. So that's that for Cardi. He's been great. Still made 2k for you. If you did have to play him, it wasn't too bad, but yeah, time to move on for sure. Shawnee Russell, if you're looking at him, he's still in that wing fullback position, 329k, got 23 points here. Unfortunately, on the left side, just not getting as much love as that right is, and fair enough. But yeah, that's that. If you own him, it's fine, but yeah, not ideal. Perham, someone to worry a little bit more about because that's 2 low ones in a row, and his 22, especially when Sloan got a 50, is sad when Perham's a little bit more priced up. So 447 for him. I think, again, when the team is a little bit more settled, there's no injuries, I think he's going to score better. So it's probably a hold, to be honest with you, in a tough wing fullback position. No one really scored well at all, to be fair. Carraz, he looks like he's going to be 3 to 4 weeks, guys, so most likely to sell, I think. Unfortunately, lost 70k, but you're going to need to move him on. It'll be 3 or 4 weeks, and they have their buy in round 13 anyway. So that's that on that one. Please get rid of Dury if you haven't either. He's starting to lose cash now. But that's the roundup video, guys. Let me know how you went in the comments, and I can't wait to go through round 8. We're getting up there now. We've got 20 rounds to go, which is very exciting. Getting closer to the bye rounds. The next 2 are Raiders and the Storm, and then we're up to the Knights for our next 3. So stick around for the round results video. We'll go through all the rankings, and I don't think we lost too much on first overall, which is nice. And then we'll get into that next 3 game impact. See you later, guys.